great tool to get into music a little bit. So welcome to the third video in my series on the cycle of fifths for the bass player. I love using the cycle as a tool to analyze tunes. Within the cycle are contained common chord progressions. When you look, for example, for a blues that has its 1, its 4, and its 5, they are neighbors on the cycle, right? If I have a 2-5-1 chord progression, that is a slice right out of the cycle. Lots of tunes use little snippets of the cycle. And let's go into a diatonic context for a second. If I look at the cycle, it has 12 notes in it. That's a chromatic context, meaning I'm using every single note there is. But if I'm going into a diatonic context, I'm using only the notes out of a major scale. And for ease's sake, let's use C major. If I step through the cycle and find all my notes of the C major scale on that graph, then I'm going to create a pretty pattern. I'm going to go from C to D to E to F to G to A to B, back to C. Now, let's step through that scale again, but not in order as we're used to it, but let's do it in the order of the cycle. So C, and I'm going up a fourth, gives me the F. Then if I were to keep going in the cycle, I would get to B flat, but that's not part of C major, so I have to find a B instead. F to B, that's still a fourth, albeit a augmented fourth, but it's still a fourth. So F to B, and then I'm going to follow the cycle right where I'm at. So E, A, D, G, and C. And now let's do that again and number the scale degrees. So 1 is the C, 4 is the F, the B is the 7, 3 is the third scale degree, 6 is A, second is D, fifth is G, and C is 1. So if I number a scale, jumping through it in fourths, then it's 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Lots of songs have 5, 1 in them. Bunch of songs have 2, 5, 1 in them. Many of them have 6, 2, 5, 1 in them. So I can add to my cycle, just always add one more. And you will find this in songs. And some songs step through the whole thing. There are famous songs like Europa by Santana, or Still Got the Blues, or by Gary Moore, or another one is I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Lots of jazz standards like Fly Me to the Moon or Autumn Leaves do that. They jump through the whole cycle using only the notes of a certain scale. Sometimes they will use colors in the chords. They'll make a dominant 7 chord sometimes. There's lots of variation there, but just looking at the roots, that's what happens. So let's look at one of those songs. The chord changes are for you to download in the PDF down there. And I've picked I Will Survive, the chord progression from Donna Summer's tune. And technically, that tune is in minor, but we're not going to go into the technicalities that deep. We're just going to play through the roots. And if we look at the cycle, we're starting on the A, and then we're going to the D, and it's an A minor chord, and then we're going to a D minor chord, and then there's going to be a G7 chord, and then we're going to go to the C, and then to the F, and then to a B minor 7 flat 5. That's a diminished chord, okay? B minor 7 flat 5, and then an E minor, and then an E7, so that it really pushes us back to that A minor chord. And what I'm going to do first, I'm going to play through it just playing the roots and disco style. We're going to do some octaves, okay? And then we're going to open it up a little bit. And if you have the chord changes in front of you, you can follow along. I'm going to do mostly triad-based patterns and maybe using some diatonic walk-ups, walk-downs. Diatonic, once again, just notes out of the scale, C major scale or A minor scale in this case. So let's have some fun and see if we can survive the cycle. All right, let's hear the music. lots of tunes have snippets of the cycle in them as for the chord progression they step through. So see if you can find some and let me know, and visit me online at TrueFire and check out my classroom, and hope you survive the cycle. Now in the next video, we're going to get a little bit jazzy with the cycle, so I'll see you there.